Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today is the first episode of Teardown series. We have this Craftsman lawnmower, 4.5 horsepower. We tried to get this thing running, but we couldn't. We think the engine's messed up. It's making a clacking sound. Also, the crankshaft is bent on the bottom, so this will just be a good parts mower. It's too bad because this deck is in pretty good condition, besides some scuffing, but yeah, so we have a time-lapse camera set up over there, and we're going to start tearing this thing down. We want to take the piston rod of this thing just to have it, so we're going to take apart this whole entire engine. We're going to take out the deck, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to take it out of the deck, we're going to split the cases and detach the rod from the crank, and yeah. So last time we parted out another mower, you guys may be asking where we put all the parts. We simply got an old recycling bin, and we put all the parts in there. So we got spark plugs, dipstick, muffler, and all that. And actually, here's the old engine case from the mower we took apart. This one had overhead valves and all that. And as you can see, we took the piston rod out of it. So yeah, we don't really want anything from here. The engine case can go to garbage, but we got a nice full bin of parts now. So that'll be good for other mowers in the future. So we're gonna be taking everything off, obviously, but some of the really good parts that are for sure taking off and keeping with the bolts is definitely the muffler, the intake, for sure the carburetor, and this air filter is not too common, but if you find another mower like that, that will definitely work good. Then we also have like the plug, and it's also little things like the oil cap and the gas cap will be good. We can also take off the wheels, and yeah, so there will be a lot more parts we can take off once we start digging actually into the engine. Alright, so currently we're just at the beginning stages, like taking off the carb and the air filter and all that, and then we're going to take off, we have to drain the fuel from the gas tank, and then we can actually start taking the flywheel off if we have to, and removing the engine from the deck. So when we're taking parts off, there's lots of bolts and nuts that come with it, obviously, and if we're going to be reusing the parts, we obviously don't want to lose it. So what we actually do here, this intake part right here with the primer bulb, we take tape and we wrap it in tape and saran wrap and tape it exactly to the part. Same with this right here. That way we never lose any of the bolts and we can use it on another mower. So first thing we're doing, we're taking off the carburetor real quick. The fuel line's kind of stubborn, so we're just going to snip it real quick. And the tank has a full, well, it's not full, but it has quite a bit, so right now we're just draining it, and then we can actually start taking everything apart once the fuel is drained out. So the reason why we think this engine blew is because the oil is extremely underfilled. Guys, let's get a focus on the cross hatching. Right there, you guys can see it's below the add level. So we're almost certain that's why this engine's blown up, and even if we got the engine going, the crankshaft's bent, so this mower is really no good. It's just good for parts to add to our collection over here. So we just got the tank off, just a couple bolts, and a bunch of gas came spilling out even though we drained most of it. This is what the gas, we put new gas in it, but it came out yellow, so I guess it's just the gas that we had. But so we got the tank off, and then on this side got the carburetor off and the intake, so now it's just straight into the engine, that port right there. So that's the updates for right now. Alright, so we just got the last bolt for the cover off. So just, there we go, just slides off right now. We got the oil dipstick. Hopefully nothing will come out of that, but as you can see here, we got a good coil too. I forgot to mention that. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get the flywheel off, but we got a good coil, good spark plug and everything here. So okay, so now before we take off the motor, there's still tons of oil in the engine, and obviously you can't take off the engine when there's oil in it. So we're gonna have to use, this is our way of pumping out oil. So what we do is we take this bottle, we take the straw out of it, and we use a lid here, and we're gonna pump it out of this hole, probably into a bottle like this, so we can take off the engine next, and then we should be able to crack the cases. I don't think the flywheel has to come off. We might take off the flywheel, but we'll see. But another part I forgot to mention, this magneto is good. So it sparks, so we just gotta take it off. It's a couple bolts, and then we got this green wire, and then yeah, we have a good magneto and plug wire here. So yep. So yeah, this is our setup here with the pump from the Febreze, and then we put it right in the bottle, and the tube, you can see it just goes straight into the engine, so it's pumping out slowly. But we could tip the mower, but we don't want to make a mess, so this is the way we're going to do it. Okay, so we had to stop the time lapse real quick. We're going to pick up the time lapse when we're taking off the engine, but this is what we got so far. As you can see in the time lapse, I was still draining the oil. There's quite a bit of oil in there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I gotta keep draining the oil. This is what we got out so far. So there's a decent amount in there, but yeah, so we're taking off the magneto, and we'll cut back to the time lapse once we are working on taking the engine bolts off. From that last clip, as you can see, the oil is taking forever to drain out. So we're actually gonna try tip it into the funnel because it didn't even look like the oil level is going down at all. So we're gonna quickly try draining it into the funnel. Alright, so now I'm going to hold the mower upwards while Braden goes under it, and he's going to undo the engine mount bolts so we can take this engine off, split the cases, and get the rod and piston out of it.
Okay, so I'm spraying a rust breaker on all the bolts for the engine.
Alright, so now hopefully this will be easy to come out. We gotta spray it under the deck too for the bolts under there.
Okay, so gotta spray some more rust breaker in here. And now we'll start loosening all the bolts.
That's the last bolt.
That's the last bolt.
Let's put the mower down and then pull it off.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so we took all the engine mounts out. Now let's see. Engine just lifts off like that.
It's a lot lighter engine than all the other ones that we've had.
Yeah, the last one we did, the engine was a lot heavier.
So first thing we're gonna do is tilt this back. We're gonna take off the head.
Yeah, we're gonna take off the head. This one doesn't have overhead valves, so this one should be easier to take off because it's just the head instead of the valves. So yeah, we're gonna get the piston and rod out of it, and yeah. Alright, so first look at the head. Hopefully it'll come off easily. There's probably, oh yeah, there we go. Oh wow. Let's see the cylinder head.
Yeah, that is terrible.
That is pretty crusty. Let me see the inside. Move that thing out of the way. There's the valves. That's oil. That's oil past the rings. So that's why this engine wasn't running. The oil ring is probably shot, and it could have ate the oil ring, which made oil come past the cylinder, the piston. So that's most likely why this thing wasn't running. So yeah, that's definitely pure oil. So okay, so now that we see this, we gotta find the bolts to split the cases and then get the piston and rod out. So
I'm just cleaning the piston right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the toothbrush and some brake clean to get the piston and rod cleaned up so I can take it inside and like have it. But yeah, so far we're gonna split the cases and see if there's any other damage in the engine. Alright, so we finally got the last nut out of the case, so hopefully it doesn't take too much pressure to split it. I already see the opening down here.
I'm gonna get some sandpaper.
Yeah, we're gonna have to sand down the shaft so this easily slides off, because last time the shaft was rusty, we couldn't get it off, so we're gonna quickly sand that down. Alright, so we're pretty much done sanding it, so we're gonna try to lift it up, see if it needs more sanding. There we go. Oh wow, okay. Here's the first look at the bottom end. This looks similar to the other mower. I don't know if we had this gear here before. So
Yeah, we did.
yeah, once we get the piston out, we can have a good look and see if the ring got destroyed for oil. Because that's the only thing I could be thinking. Like, how else would oil get to the top end? So yeah, here's a look in here. I don't know if anything's broken in here. I'm not really familiar with bottom ends, but yeah. So we're gonna detach the rod and we're gonna push the piston and rod out the top. We got one rod bolt out, and now, as you can see, there's one more right there. So we're gonna get that out, slide it out the head. And this piston looks a lot bigger than the other mower we had, so it should be pretty cool to keep. All right, here comes the last rod bolt. So it's fully detached now, so if we turn over the engine, it should be able to come out the top now. So
Okay.
is it hard to turn over?
No.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna have to try to push this out if I can. I'm not gonna be able to. There we go.
All right, now
Now we're about to push the piston
let's
out.
push it out. There's the piston.
Where
All
the
right,
shoe?
let's get a first look.
These are not way
No,
too
the rings were like that on the other one. Let's get a look at it. There's the top.
way too much oil piling up everywhere around here.
Yeah, that's all oil here. Let me have it. Let me see. So
I think the rings are a little too loose though.
here's the rings. I'm not really sure what good or bad rings are supposed to look like, but if you guys know, this is what the rings look like. So yeah, here's the whole piston. All right, so now we're gonna grab a bucket and I'm gonna clean this up because I'm gonna keep it. And here's the leftover engine case that's just gonna be chucked. That's from this mower, obviously, and then we have this engine case from another mower. So I know I could probably get this, like bring it in for scrap metal, but I probably only get like 50 cents to $1, so it's not really worth it. So yeah, I'm just gonna chuck it on the side of the road and a metal collector will take it. So here's the rod and piston. I'm gonna wash it off real quick. So this is the bucket I'm gonna use, and I'm using this old toothbrush just to scrape it off. I'm gonna try to get most of this carbon off. It's really oily, so that's my main focus right now, is getting all the oil off of it. The piston. So after taking a long time to clean it, finally got the piston looking pretty shiny. If you get a focus here, there's still a little bit of carbon spots, but besides that, it looks pretty good. So the rest of what I've discovered is the rest of the piston looks pretty clean, but right here there's caked on oil, so I'm thinking the rings might have failed there, and that's where the oil got through to the top end. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching this video. If you want more content like this, please subscribe.